Hello YouTubers, subscribers and friends, welcome to my channel. It is 48 degrees, chilly. The sun is out though. We had rain all day yesterday, makes it gloomy. My friend of, 8 years, they used to live there, moved away. The owner's over there and now finally, first time I've ever seen the owner doing something to the house over there. I don't know what he's doing. But I'm getting a lot of questions about, constantly people ask me about my next door neighbor, Mrs Kravitz. It's not a real name, it's what I call her. Because if you ever watch an old TV show called Bewitched, oh, there's a nice bird right there, about the guy whose wife was a witch. She would twinkle her nose. It's an old TV show. I'm an old guy, what can I say? But yeah, they had a really nosy neighbor named Mrs Kravitz, so that's what I call her, because she's always sticking her nose into mine and the neighbors' businesses that live around her, the house on the other side also. I've been making videos about this neighbor I've been having problems with for years, and I still get people commenting on those videos that are 4 or 5 years old, thinking that I just made these videos. Get a lot of negative attacks too from everybody about these videos, and I'm just reporting, you know, living next to a crazy neighbor, what she's doing. So let me go down there and show you what I'm talking about. My crazy neighbor, Mrs. Kravitz, built this barricade right here. I got this river that runs through, somebody doing U-turns on my property, that runs through my property. In the monsoon season, the water flows through here, it goes through her fence and goes across the street over there. It used to flow very, very easily. We never had backup. We never had a problem coming in and out of our driveway. And we never had damage to the road like you see right here before. This has been going back, what, 4 or 5 years? Those water meters, those 3, used to be over here. If you go back and watch some of the older videos of Mrs. Kravitz, and I call her Mrs. Kravitz, I laugh every time I call her that, because I don't know how many people really actually know who Mrs. Kravitz is. My water meter is over here, so I never had a problem with damage. We had rain yesterday and this river was flooding, and you can see the damage, the erosion it caused right here. And it keeps eroding that. A couple years ago, she put this, before she put these railroad ties up here, she dug a trench, she laid concrete and rebar in there, hired some guy to come out here and do it. And every time those water meters would get damaged, and every time I come out here I see the water people fixing it, complaining, that telling me, well, if these pipes break, you're responsible for the water that drains out. You have to pay the water bill. I'm like, no, I won't. It's over here. Never had a problem with this. But I would come out here and document it because I think it's crazy, because ever since she's built this blockage right here, as you can see right here, it backs up the water and redirects the water to flow this way, which damages the road right here. We never had this problem with the big dip right here to go out into the road. It used to look like over there, flush, because it used to flow freely from here through her fence out there and then over there. Well, now she built this, it causes a lot of problems and damage. And she barricaded all the way up to where, about right there. Well, lately she's been building it further and further back, and it goes all the way to the end of her fence now, all the way down there. You can see, I'll show you later, you can see the ugly stuff that she put there. Now the reason she's using this really, really ugly stuff, because a couple of years ago I tried to put my house up for sale because I was getting tired of her, sick and tired of her. She's a very racist woman. She calls me and my family very racist names. So I just was talking to the owner that owns the house behind me. But yeah, here's this ugly barricade right here. And the reason I film this is because it's ugly, because this woman has started a war with me that I no longer acknowledge her. I just ignore her. But the reason she built this barricade here is Not because water was going on the properties, because I had my house up for sale, and she came over and she offered me $10,000. Look, it goes all the way up there. Yeah, she offered me $10,000 for my house, and I told her, yeah, no thank you, I'll have to pass. And then she got extremely pissed off and angry at me, and she's like, I hope your house burns to the ground. And I just thought, wow, that's weird, because I've never once ever been mean or said anything nasty to this woman, ever, since I've lived here. Even when I get into arguments with her, or I shouldn't say arguments, I should say she's yelling at me, and I'm trying to ask her, why are you yelling at me, calling me names. She pulled it all the way back up to right there. She used to have horses. She used to have a big horse and a little horse and a donkey. She would take her horse and she would come onto my property and ride her horse onto my property. And this before she offered to buy my house and come right in my driveway, and then the horse would take a shit right in my driveway. And she'd just turn around, walk off, and go down. They'd turn the horse around, come around my property. And then this guy that lives over there got pissed off of her coming over here on his property. He put up this fence. So she called the county on this guy over here because he put up this fence, and they came and investigated. I had to tell her that he has the right to put up a fence. She's like, he's blocking the flow of water over here. She used the same thing that I told her that she's doing. She's blocking the flow of water because he's got this fence over here. And he did that because he got tired of her riding up this wash and coming into his property and just riding around his property on her horse. So she's crazy. And this guy over here brought this property, and she called the county on him because he's got all these cars and stuff he stores. He uses this property as storage. He's got all these RVs and trucks and cars and stuff. And the county came out here and investigated, and they told him, well, he's not doing anything wrong because we live in the country, but because if you want to keep peace with your neighbors, because I talked to this guy, because she came over and she had wanted me to sign, she was like all nice to me, wanted me to sign this petition to get in trouble with the county. So she gave me the paperwork, and a couple days later I saw this guy, and he was talking to me. He was putting this blockage here, so you can't see in his property, and I was asking why he did that, and he said because she's complained, the county came out. And I said, yeah, well, that's weird. I showed him the paperwork. Yeah, she wants me to sign this petition to try to get you kicked out of here, which I find hilarious because we don't live in the city, we live in the country. And we don't have to follow the same rules out here in the country as we do in the city in Tucson. These people back here have constantly had problems with them, with her. Every time they come up and down, it's like at least twice a week. If she's outside, they'll stop and they'll purposely start a fight with her right here in the driveway, and you can hear it in my house. And it's just my wife. That's another reason why we want to sell our house. It's because we just want to get away from this craziness. You know, I mean, I ignore her now. 2 weeks ago, my wife walks the dog up, and the driveway's my property. My wife walks our dog Jerry up and down the property here, and she came out to my wife and said, "You see, you guys keep turning me in, and they can't do anything to me. I'm not going to remove this blockage." And that was before she built this barricade right here. After that, she built this barricade right here. It goes all the way over here, these little ugly little things. She told my wife, well, that's what happens when you have money. When you have money, you can do whatever you want. And my wife came in and told me that. I just started laughing. I was like, she's trying to make my property look ugly and nasty by putting this barricade here because she doesn't want anybody to buy my house. The first time I tried to sell the house, a realtor called me and said that, could you talk to your neighbor because people are coming to look at your house, and she's telling your people that are interested in your house very nasty things about you and your home. And that's why the realtor decided to stop the contract, try to sell our house the first time because of this woman. So that's why my wife and I are trying to sell it ourselves now, because this woman is trying to interfere with everything we do. I get a lot of hate people, trolls, attacking me saying that I'm stalking her. I'm not stalking her. I'm just reporting what's going on in my daily life and the things that I have to deal with. And I constantly get people continually to ask me what's going on with this crazy neighbor you live next door to, and I have refused to make any more videos because of the negativity I have. But it just got to the point where people want an update, because it's been a long time since I've done an update. And my wife was telling me last night that because she was reading one of the comments, and she's like, you should just do an update, tell people what's going on. And that's what's going on. Mrs. Kravitz is still crazy. She still comes out and yells at me. Like when I was down there talking to the owner who owns that, and he was telling me that your friend Mike, the guy that used to live there, has an anger issue. There's holes. There's 4 or 5 holes in every single room. The carpet's ripped up. There's so much damage in that house. And I was like, really? I've never seen him once get angry. That's weird. And he's like, well, I talked to your other neighbor over here, who they had a conflict with, and he says that they fought all the time. And I was like, 8 years I live here, I've never ever heard him fighting with anybody. So I don't know. So there's always trash here. These people that live in the very back are very dirty. They always throw trash so it will blow on her fence, because they've lived here the longest in the very, very back, and they have a quarrel going on, like the freaking McCoys and whatever that quarrel is with this woman, and they constantly, it's just irritating. It's irritating to hear. It's irritating to see all this trash piled up here, because she's got that barricade built in trash, and then they like to throw their garbage out. And every day I walk up and down here and I have to go pick up this garbage, just because, you know, I think it's making my fucking driveway look just dirty. But anyways, that's the story. I'm not stalking Mrs. Kravitz. You know, that's why I'm hiding behind this tree. She can't see me, because if she sees me out here, she will come up to this fence and just start yelling at me. And it's ridiculous, the things that she yells at me. This is the most racist person I ever met in my life. And then people are like, oh, you're stalking her and you're the one causing. No, I'm not causing the problem. This is my property. I have the right to walk around on my property and film anything I want. Like this tree fell down. I came out here one time to film this tree, and she came out there, oh, you're making videos again, won't you be? This woman has mooned me so many times, it's not even funny. She's mentally ill. And she's the worst neighbor I've ever lived next to my whole entire life. And I call her Mrs. Kravitz. And I've been nothing but nice to her. Even now, even when she's racist and yells at me and says nasty things, and I hope your house burns down, stuff like that. I haven't said anything bad to her. I just, because I realize that she's crazy. And so I just ignore her. My wife has had it with her. My wife is like, I want to get away from her. So, see, we had a for sale sign up there. Somebody stole the for sale sign. It's gone. I don't know who's doing it. But yeah, that's the update of Mrs. Kravitz, crazy Mrs. Kravitz, and the rain that we got yesterday. Look at it, it washed all this out. And she said she was going to flood me out, try to flood me out, and the worst that's ever happened is the water has come up to this tree right here. The flooding has come all the way up to this tree right here. So she hasn't flooded me out yet, and hopefully she never will. Alright, that's it. Thanks for taking the time to watch my videos. Always like, comment, subscribe. Don't cost anything. It's free. And that's the Mrs. Kravitz update for 2017. I'm gone. Get going.